As you search the interweb and watch more and more golf instruction videos, it's quite likely you've come across the terminology of the P system. What is the P system? Why do coaches use it? And most importantly, how can it help you to become a better golfer? So the P system references the positions of the swing. That's what the P stands for. P equals positions, and there's 10 of them as described by M.O.R.A.D. M.O.R.A.D was a student of the golfing machine. The golfing machine first broke the golf swing down into the 12 sections. Mac then took that one stage further and came up with his own P system, and it's this P system that's used today by golf instructors all over the world. I'll begin this video by showing you these 10 positions, the specific checkpoints that we use throughout the swing, and then we'll go on to discuss why having these checkpoints is useful both for the instructor and for the student, and exactly how you can use these to help you play better golf. P1 is setup, the address position, how the golfer stands to the ball. P2 is shaft parallel to the ground in the backswing. So when the shaft reaches this parallel condition, that's what we refer to as P2. As we continue in the backswing and we get to left arm parallel in the backswing, left arm parallel to the ground is position 3 or P3. And then we get to the top and we finish the backswing. The top of the backswing is referenced as P4, position 4. As we move down, back towards the ball, P5 is also left arm parallel to the ground. So P5 and P3 are both left arm parallel to the ground, but one is on the backswing, P5 is on the downswing. P6 is where the shaft reaches parallel with the ground in the downswing. P7 is impact, so when the club strikes the ball, that is P7. Moving into the follow through, P8 would be where the shaft is parallel to the ground in the follow through, with P9 being where the trail arm, the right arm in my example, the trail arm is parallel to the ground in the follow through. And finally, P10 would be the finish. So now that you're familiar with the P system and the individual positions within it, what can that do for your golf? Why or how can that be useful to you? Well, it allows you to start looking at your swing in a way that you maybe wouldn't have done before, whether that's comparing your swing to a previous version of your swing at the same point in time in the swing. We can use the P system to put swings against each other, compare them, notice the differences, and from that have an expectation of what the outcome should be. And that really leads us to the point where you have to have a model for golf, a way that the swing should look in your mind, because if you have an understanding of a baseline model, using the P system can help you to recognize when things are off track. You can see very quickly when a club or a body position isn't quite how it should be, and the expectation of what the ball flight would be from that discrepancy. So having a model for golf is critical, and then having a system to be able to measure that model is just as important.
Those who know you as one of the best ball hitters for a number of years on the tour. The statistics bear that out. What's your impression about how a system of golf, how a system can be applied to golf?
What I say is that really to be a really good instructor, you have to develop a model. So in that model, it solves the equation, so to speak, of how to get the ball down the fairway or on the green or play better golf. So you have to develop that model that's simple, easy to understand, and takes out unnecessary movements and things that just complicate it. So that's the first step, is develop the model. The second thing is you have to be able to explain the model. So it's no good if I know what it means, but I go to the average player or to another tour player and I can't explain it. Right? So you have to be able to explain it. And then you have to be able to demonstrate it. So does it work? Well, let me show you. If I do this, if I do that, here's what happens to the ball. So I'm now demonstrating to say, okay, I've developed it, I can explain it, and I can show you how it works. That gives validity to it. Now, the fourth part of this whole equation is you got to problem solve. And in the problem solving, varies from student to student. So all those things about systematic approach is really important because you stay consistent with all your students, but the solutions are different for everyone.
So now we have a model and a system by which to measure that model. You're going to be able to start looking at your swing, specifically your swing, because that's the one you care about the most, in terms of what you need to work on. Hopefully, when you're working with your teacher, your coach, you're filming your swing. I always encourage my students to film their swings when they practice. And the reason for that is so that you can look at a particular checkpoint. We don't need to look at all 10, but let's take P6, for example, where the shaft is parallel to the ground in the downswing. If we know what to look for, and we have an expectation of where this club should be at a particular P, we can also recognize when the club might be out of place. So this shaft is still parallel to the ground in the downswing, but the shaft is angled in from a 0 point. I would know as a coach, and having a clear model and understanding of the swing in my head, that this approach to the ball is likely to produce a swing direction or a club path that's excessively to the right, too much into out, if you like. And if that was your problem, you'd first of all be able to see it on the camera. You'd then be able to get the expectation of what the ball flight was going to do. And then you could be practicing using specific drills to get the club at P6 to line up and be straighter into the ball. You'd be able to check your progress. You'd be able to look at the detail of whether you're improving or if you've plateaued, or worse still, if you're going backwards. But without a model and a system by which to measure it by, you're really just standing there hitting ball after ball after ball, and you could just very easily be ingraining all of your bad habits. The importance of a system and a model cannot be overstated. Systems and models are everywhere. They guide us through our daily life. If you're feeling unwell and you go to the doctor, they have a system for how to diagnose you. They take your blood, take your temperature. They look for particular markers and things that they expect to see. That's the model. And when things don't match what they expect to see, they're able to then prescribe and diagnose you correctly. They're able to give you the correct treatment. I often look at some golf videos and golf instruction and wonder if these people were doctors, they'd probably kill someone. You probably have your arm amputated when all you really needed was a couple of paracetamol. So be very careful about the information that you're digesting. Does it make sense? And if you're not sure about what you're being asked to do, you should always make sure you check. For me, I'm always explaining to my students, both in person and online, exactly what to look for throughout the swing. It's absolutely vital you use the camera to verify that what you're trying to work on is actually what you're doing. We know that feel and real can be very, very different. So make sure that you're checking in on yourself regularly. And the true value of a system, the P system, is that you can use it to help your golf over time. You can become your own best coach. You can learn what to look for. With some time, some education spent with a good instructor, you'll be able to see the things that you need to see in your swing and make sure you don't fall too far off track. So there you have the breakdown of the P's within the swing, the 10 positions of the golf swing. This creation of M.O.R.A.D is still used by hundreds and thousands of golf instructors to this day. Does everyone use the P system? No, definitely not. And do you need to use this system to be a successful golf teacher? Absolutely not. But I would implore you to make sure that your instructor does have a model and a system that they're able to communicate with you so that your golf instruction is specific, detailed and structured in a way that's helping you to become a better player. As you can probably imagine, each one of these P's has a number of important checkpoints that can go into quite a lot of detail. You're not expected to understand all of them, you don't need to, but make sure your instructor does. If you've made it this far into the video and you got past the first 2 minutes of just the 10 P's, then you're probably quite interested in learning more about that detail. The Stack&Tilt 2.0 video series goes into the most incredible detail in terms of how each one of these positions should look. So if you're interested in learning more about the P system, getting into the detail of the golf swing, I'd encourage you to take a look at that video series, and I'll put a link down in the description below. And if you're interested in taking some online coaching with me, I'll put the link to my skill list down in the description. I'm helping hundreds of golfers all over the world with their golf swing using this P system as we discuss the important changes that they need to make. And if you want to see me using the P system in one of my videos, you can go and check out this one right here, which discusses how Rory McIlroy uses P3 and P5 as his secret move to be one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the world.